But because both Skillus and Reynor have 1 win each, if Trigger wins this game, then it does force a reset, a tiebreaker match. Otherwise, if Reynor wins this game, then Reynor does make it through into the playoffs. Let's go. Let us go. Spawning in the bottom hand corner of Tourmaline, we have the Italian Zerg player. We have the blue Zerg representing Basilisk. It is Reynor. And spawning in the top right hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the red Protoss player. We have the red Protoss himself, the Canadian Protoss, also representing Basilisk. It is Trigger. See this, easy defense, not even close. How? What? Hopefully I was able to explain, but again, Trigger, he was behind from the beginning. If you were watching that game, we were trying to emphasize that there was just a really rough game from Trigger, and he was doing his best, you know, fighting back and playing from behind and trying to, you know, recoup his losses. So he had a worse economy, he had a smaller army. He also lost his Immortal as he went for his first push as well. So there was a lot working against him. That's why Trigger needed more time to survive the counterattack from Skillus. We were trying to paint that picture in the lead up to it. But here we go. We're getting into game number 1 here between Trigger and Reynor. Coming into this, as a reminder, Trigger, he did 2-0 Reynor in the group stage. True. How did he do it? 2 base all-ins. He went for a 6-gate, he went for a +1 blink 6-gate 2 base all-in, both in game 1 and in game 2. And that was on 10,000 feet and on Tourmaline. So on this very map, Trigger, he was able to overwhelm and kill Reynor with a 2 base all-in. Do we see another 2 base all-in, or do we see something different here? Now, I would imagine after that series, Reynor has since learned from his mistakes, has learned from those games, and I do not advise Trigger to go for that 2 base all-in. I feel like it would be unwise to do so against a player like Reynor. Whether it would have been Reynor or Serral or Solar, any of the top Zerg players, like they do adapt, right? They do learn from their mistakes. So I do feel like we have to take a different approach here. Show us what you got. Show us what you got. Oh, as looks like there was a bit of an issue there, but thankfully it is resolved. There we go. So we are going to be settling in. So far, Hatch Gas Pool. Reynor, he was forced to take the unnatural natural, so a bit of an awkward position here for Reynor. An awkward expansion. Stargate opener out of Trigger. Okay. Got my attention. Does open up Stargate. Looking like a standard game so far. Once again, we're just waiting for the timing of the Twilight Council. Waiting for the council. The Adept is zoned away, threatening a shade, but doesn't commit. It doesn't commit. Now building up to 2 Adepts taking 1-shot drones, so they can threaten the mineral line. It's going to be up to Reynor to keep up. He does have a queen and a handful of links here at the natural. So far, so good. Likewise, he has 2 queens in the main. Does have 2 queens. Oracle dips in. It gets 2 drone kills. It does take a lot of hull damage. Ay, not ideal. And Trigger's expanding. So far, everything's looking normal here. Standard game. Okay. Standard build. Oracle into the 3rd, into a 2nd, into a 3rd Oracle. So triple Oracle opener. This should lead into a Twilight Council and Forge and +1 and Blink. Should lead in that direction. Reynor collapsing in, catching out one of the Adepts. Oracles are racing back home, and Reynor, does he get all 3 Adepts? He at least gets 2. He's gonna get all 3. Wow, 3 Adepts go down. Very nice damage here by Reynor, punishing Trigger's move out. Twilight Council's on the way. I don't see a forge. Oh, okay, there we go. I was like, I don't see a forge. I mean, there wasn't one. Delayed forge. Delayed forge here by Trigger. He had the money for it. He was banking resources. So a bit of a slip up. But again, Reynor was distracted. And from here, it's looking like +1 and Blink. Again, +1 and Charge is still on the table. Let's see. We have the money for it. Okay, Blink. So Blink is on the way. Now from here, our next kind of big thing we're looking for is gases. Gases at the third base. Technically, there is a chance that we don't take gases at the third. We don't get a fourth expansion, and we throw down a massive gateway explosion and go for a 3 base all-in. Right now, we're building up to 6 gateways, which is quite a lot. So we have a 6-gate setup. And if we throw down more gateways, that would be indicative of a 3 base all-in. 6 so far. Oracles are breaking forward. We have the answer. Tech. Okay, so Templar Archives. This means that gases are going to be taken and a 4th base will be taken as well. So Trigger, he's taking up in towards the mid game. And it's been a pretty passive game so far. It's been pretty passive. Oh, okay, as we throw down a Spire. So Reynor, he's the one that's going to deviate. He's the one that's going to cut some corners and go for something hidden here. We do have the hidden tech in the main base. The pressure is on Trigger to scout. Now, thankfully for Trigger, unlike some previous EVPs we've seen here tonight, specifically Skilless versus Reynor. If you remember, Skilless, he was stuck without Blink in his series, and he was woefully underprepared for the Mutants. This time, Trigger has Blink, so he does have a better answer to the Mutalisks. Scouting is still paramount. It would allow him to make Phoenixes. Now, Stalkers, they poke in. As they move in, Lings, they move out across the map. Planning to defend back at home. Reynor staying up with this around. Stasis goes up. And Trigger, he gets the hell out of here. He does see the flanking army. He's forced back home, and this all does cause a big distraction, allowing for the Spire to finish. Unscouted. Oof. Yeah, Mew is completely unscouted. This is a scary position here for Trigger. Again, Trigger thankfully does have some anti-air here with those Blink Stalkers. But the other bases are very exposed. No cannons, no shield batteries. As Lings, they move out. Muta production has begun. We have 9 mutas in total. Mutas are making the way into the main. At the same time, Reynor is not going into mass muta. He's switching into Hydra Lurker. So he's going for a ground switch. Lings, they distract. They force a cancel on the 4th base. Mutas, they dive into the main. There are some Stalkers in position. Phoenix as well. And the Mutas, they just stand and fight. Okay. They stand and fight. 3 probe kills. Not that was trade. Yeah, not that was trade here with the Mutas. But what's important here is that Reynor, he denied the expansion. He denied the 4th base. Keeping the economy low. Could have been worse though. True, could have been worse. Trigger does hold. Now what's important is that pylon is not going to get picked up. What's important though is they're switching to Mass Ling Hydra. Reynor, he's done with mutas. And he still has enough to one-shot probes. He still has 5 mutas. That is still enough. Oh! Going down to 4. Reynor, he starts the hive. The hive is on the way. The lair is on. Sorry, the lurker den is on the way. If given time, Reynor can just snowball out of control with lurkers. Trigger, he has to strike now. But there are so many hydras. Yeah, the concave is brutal. Trigger, he cannot move in. The mutas, they do slip into the main once again. They're still being active. Zealots have arrived. With the help of the charge lots, Trigger, he might break through. Yeah, Hydras are going down. Hydras are going down. The Archons, they overwhelmed the initial army. Getting on top of the Queen. The boys are being pulled in. Trigger, can he do it? It's close. The Archons are too low. Yeah, the Archons, they had too low shields. Archons are going down. They just need a little bit more support. It was so close. If these warpins had arrived a little bit sooner, then maybe. At the same time, mutas they did pop off. They're still wreaking havoc here in the bases. 13 probes go down. You're barely hanging on. Reynor, I would say. Reynor barely hanging on. Still up in workers. Ooh, Storm is done. High Templar coming in. Unfortunately, that wasn't a part of the main fight. That would have been huge. And Trigger pulls away. As he pulls away, this is allowing Reynor to finish up lurkers. We spoke about this earlier, but the big power spike for Reynor are going to be lurkers. It's a big power spike. So Reynor, he's gotten there. Now he has time to redrone, resaturate, to hive upgrades are on the way for the lurkers. And Trigger, he's just stuck on Charge Archon Immortal Storm. Now this kind of army composition can work against lurkers, that is true, but you do need a robust economy to make this work, right? You have to be able to build up your immortal counts, build up your archons, and build up that death pool of an army. The problem is, because of the earlier assaults, how many archons went down? Five archons were already killed. This army's not much weaker. Oh my god. Yeah, lurker shots going up. Lurker range is not ready. Leona, hero! Lings, they flood into the natural, they force a recall. Hey, just like Hero, Trigger, he defends well. He defends well, but recall's now on cooldown, but no losses out of Trigger. Yeah, he's doing his best hero impression. Sure. Wall's open, but sustains no damage. So at all this, Reynor, he's slowly building up his lurker count. He's now up to 12. Jesus, 12 lurkers. Trigger does have Skytools on the horizon, but lurkers will hit first. Lings, they collapse on the high template. They force out storms. A nice flank. Lurkers at the high ground. Oh my god, massive shots. Getting 1, 2, getting 4 high templar. 5 templar go down. Massive pickoffs. And Trigger, he was out of position. He was out of position. Losing so many high templar. We have more templar warping in. They need time for storms. They need time for energy. The energy just is not there. As Reynor, he commits in, zoning back the army, pushing towards the expansion. Nice storm out of Trigger, but he will lose another high templar. Yeah, 0 storms left, 0 storms remaining. Yeah, he just trickles in. These are the final units, 1 Archon, 1 Immortal, and GG gets called. GG gets called. Reynor overwhelms, and Reynor, he will take the game and make it through into the playoffs. GG. GG, well played, Reynor. He does advance through. Reynor takes down Skillus in the best of 1, and it takes down Trigger in the best of 1 as well. GG, well played, Reynor. He will advance on in 2nd place out of Group D alongside Showtime. But it went down to the wire, it went down all the way to these best of 1s where anything can and does happen. Trigger had an interesting approach. Trigger, he was a lot more mellow in his approach to go for a standard early game and standard mid game, shifting gears quite heavily compared to his previous series versus Reynor, and unfortunately didn't really have too much success here. He was bleeding out his adepts, the oracles didn't get much damage done, and unfortunately failed to scout the spire. The mutas, I wouldn't say they dealt game ending damage, but it built up over time. It distracted Trigger and allowed Reynor to switch into his Hydras, which did catch Trigger off guard. If you remember, with that first move outs as the mutas were distracting, Trigger to lose his 4th. His 4th base was denied, and that heavily slowed down the Protals. It did slow down Trigger, slowed down his own army, slowed down his own tech. If you remember, it did force a counterattack out of Trigger, and Trigger, he pushed with 6? He pushed with 6 Archons, he pushed with Immortals. This was pre-Storm, if you remember. He moved without any high tempo, without any storms, and he was trading well. If you remember, Reynor had to pull the boys. Reynor, he had to pull the boys to defend, and if we had a War Prism with the army, if we had some Zealot reinforcements, if we had a little bit more, Trigger, he almost ended the game then and there. Almost did end it. This was again as Reynor was trying to get ready for lurkers, but wasn't quite there yet either. Like, this was pre-lurker, but also pre-storm, and Trigger barely didn't break through. Reynor held, and then Reynor snowballed out of control with his 12 lurkers. GG. GG, well played. But again, there was definitely a window of opportunity there for Trigger. Regardless, congratulations to Reynor, as Reynor does advance on alongside Showtime through the group into the playoffs. GG. GG, well played. Aye, aye, aye. As again, if Trigger had won that game, then we would have had a 3-way tie and we would have just reset again. Would have been another reset. Let's catch up. Let's catch up on the bracket. Aye, aye, aye. Whew. But again, that does wrap up our coverage here for Group D for HomeStory Cup. That was Reynor taking down Skilless 2-0 and also 1-0 in that tiebreaker show match. We had showdown. We had Trigger taking down Baby Marine. Showtime looking dominant over Reynor as well in that 2-0. In a very different way, of course, and a different approach compared to Trigger. And then we had the pure best of ones. Pure best of ones, Reynor, Trigger, and Skilless. In the end, Reynor barely comes out on top and does advance out in second place. Congratulations here to Reynor. And that wraps up our group stage coverage of HomeStory Cup 28, and that will lead us into the playoffs tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to be back here with the playoffs. We are going to be covering day 1, day 2, day 3. It's going to be a 3-day coverage of the playoffs, covering every single game, every single match. The scary thing, or the intimidating thing about the playoffs, of course, is it is double elimination. Double elimination. A lot of matches, a lot of games are going to be taking place. It's going to be an intense couple of days of StarCraft. Speaking of, we can have a look at our schedule. Bam! As you can see before us here, we are here Friday morning in Australia, or in South Korea. So we just wrapped up our morning broadcast here of HomeStory Cup. You can see that Saturday and Sunday at this very time, or not at this time, but at the same start times today, we're going to be back with the playoffs with day 1 and day 2 on Saturday and Sunday, and I believe we're going to be wrapping up on Monday. So we do have 3 days straight of HomeStory Cup playoffs. Meanwhile, we have more StarCraft as well. Saturday evening, we have Masters Swan Open. That's going to be at 7 p.m. KST. That is going to be in around 5 hours time tomorrow, if that makes any sense. So in around 29 hours will be Masters Swan Open. If you're curious, what is Masters Swan Open? That is our monthly tournament that we've been running for many years, ever since 2018, I think. Ever since around 2018. Masters Swan Open is a tournament for Masters players. It's in the name, Bob. It's in the name. It is our monthly amateur tournament where we do feature and showcase players of lower MMR. It is MMR restricted to, I believe, 4.7k MMR, and there's also a ladder game requirement as well. So you have to be an active player to be able to have I should say, to be able to have a more accurate representation or reflection of your MMR and your current skill. So I'm just giga tired. So that is going to be on Saturday. That is going to be MSO, Masters Swan Open. So again, a tournament for amateur players. And for those who don't know the history of the CranKy Ducklings, we've been casting StarCraft non-stop full-time since 2020, but we started running tournaments and also casting back in 2017. That's when we started our amateur events. And fun fact, back then, pre-COVID in 2017, we were running tournaments for Diamond players and Masters players, and there were actually some players that you know now that we covered back when they were Diamond. Players like Mixu, players like Baby Marine, who was in this group. We did cast Baby Marine, we did cast Mixu, Oreo, Ruichi. There's like a handful of players that we covered back in the day, back when they were Diamond and Masters, before they went pro, before they went GM and semi-pro and professional as well. It's not like everyone kind of went that route, but we were able to see a couple of those players kind of rise through the ranks, which was really cool to see, which we really did appreciate. I mean, that's the reason why we run these amateur events, is to give players a reason to compete and a reason to improve. Not saying that everyone makes it to GM and makes it into the top players in the world, but you know, we find the diamonds in the rough, Pat. Diamonds in the rough. We at least give players a reason to be motivated and a reason to improve. So again, that's the goal of our tournaments. That's their role. I want to say there's some other notables. Oh, GG Machine. True. GG Machine. He's another one where we casted him as a Diamond player many years ago. Before he also, like nowadays, GG Machine, he's what, like top 5 Zerg, or at least top 5 Zerg in Europe, I should say. Yeah, top 5, top 6. For sure, 100%. GG Machine. Is there another notable? We didn't cast Fiant. We did not cover Fiant when he was younger. God, I'm sure there's another that's like slipping in my mind. Sure, there's another. Of course, Oreo, Starduck. True. We covered them when they were Diamond. They're Aussie players. But yeah, with that, thanks for watching. With that, thanks for watching. With that, thanks for tuning in. We do appreciate the support. And again, we'll see you guys over the weekend for some more StarCraft. Also, right, the other thing, of course, is Tuna Cup. Tuna Cup is going to be on Sunday. Tuna Cup is our weekly open tournaments. So we do see the best of the best players in the world competing in Tuna Cup. Meanwhile, amateur players competing in Masters 1 Open. If you want to support us, you can do so via Patreon. !Patreon in the chat. Our Patreon does fund our tournaments on a regular basis. The Patreon does help us grow the prize pool and grow our tournaments and support the players even further. So you can help us out via Patreon if you wish to eventually grow our tournaments to the point where we do have monthly finals as well. That is my hope, at least. So you can help us out and help the scene out via Patreon. Otherwise, you can follow us if you, for example, want to see some of the previous games. If you want to see yesterday's matches, if you want to see Trigger versus Reynor in their group stage match in HomeStory Cup, or some Rongi Cup, Thunderfire, for example, Thunderfire tournaments, Little League Cup, regular weekly tournaments, it is all on YouTube. !socials or !YouTube in the chat. You'll get a link to all of our socials. We have Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Mastodon, Blue Sky, Discord, and YouTube. We upload to YouTube on a daily basis, and we also stream on YouTube as well. We co-stream on Kick, on YouTube, and on Twitch. So we are on all three platforms, and you can check us out there. If you are unsatiated, if you want some more StarCraft, if we aren't live, plenty of StarCraft on YouTube. Again, we cast more StarCraft than anyone else out there, more than Morty, more than Steadfast. We have the quantity, and we have a little bit of the quality as well. Little bit, pappy, little bit. Otherwise, thanks for watching. And we'll see you guys over the weekend. As you can see with our schedule, we don't have an evening broadcast today. We typically do. You can see the podcast at 7 p.m. KST, MSOs at 7 p.m., STCs at 7 p.m. But tonight on Friday, we have the evening off. So just a heads up, just as a heads up, this is the only cast for the day. We'll be back tomorrow with the playoffs of HomeStory Cup and with the rest of our tournaments. So see you tomorrow. See you tomorrow, pappy. See you tomorrow. Otherwise, stick around. We're going to be giving another StarCraft streamer a raid. Who is live at the moment? Who is live? Who can we send everyone over to? Let us quickly have a look here. Un momento. There aren't many people streaming StarCraft at the moment, I don't think. Let's see. We have Enki, papi. True. We have Enki El Hermoso. Looks like he is hosting a talk show and podcast with Swachi. Okay. We have Cian. Cian is casting in Brazil. In Brazilian, in Portuguese. We have Dave. True, Oldmate Dave is live. Looks like he's running some show matches. Oh no, sorry, he's casting Nation Wars. Okay. Neuro is live. Bond is live. I want to give Bond some love at some point. Bond. We'll give him some love. All right. Well, with that, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. We're going to be wrapping up, and we'll see you guys tomorrow for some more StarCraft. Otherwise, give whoever we raid some love, give him some support, give him a chance. See you next time. Ciao, papi, ciao. See you next time.